What is going on, guys? It is CJ, and I am back for one of our favorite shows, Love and Marriage Huntsville. They are back for season 3, episode 1. But before we talk about it, y'all already know, go ahead and tap that thumbs up button at the bottom, and also make sure that you subscribe to my channel because we will be reviewing this show in its entirety, the whole season. This is one of my favorite shows, and it gets like the most views for me. So I definitely love this show. And as y'all can probably tell, I'm most passionate about this show. But also make sure that you share. Like I said, tell a friend to tell another friend, and maybe they'll tell a friend, and we all can be friends. So go ahead and do that. Now that we got all that out of the way, we will get started. They called this episode Sisters-In-Brawl. And y'all know I always talk about why they called an episode what they called it. But we'll talk about that a little later on in the review. Now, they do have a new intro we see. We see all of the couples, Kimmy and Maurice. We see Marceau and Letitia. We see Destiny, who is solo. We don't see LeBeric with her. And we also see Melody and Martell separately because we know that they are no longer together. But we will talk about solo Destiny in just a few minutes. But anyway, the show opens with Marceau. They're at Scott Manor, or what is going to be Scott Manor. And it right now is just a pile of mud. He says right now there is no Scott Manor. The rain won't stop. And so that has kind of put production at a complete halt. And having been in the construction business, I know that rain stops everything. Trucks can't move in the rain. Things cannot be built. Foundations can't be built. We can't pour concrete. There's nothing that can really be done in the rain. So right now, everything is kind of at a standstill, and it's kind of frustrating because Letitia is ready. She is ready to get this ball rolling. Marceau is not so ready. So he is kind of constantly changing the plans because he wants this to kind of drag out as long as possible because he's not really, I guess, ready to pull the trigger. And Maurice is also wanting him to go ahead and make a move so he can start his building process. But I don't understand how he's going to start the building process because Kimmy has still not agreed to this. She does not want to be that close to his family. And I can understand why she does not want to be, but he insists because they want this to be like, I guess, a family compound, so to speak. And he tries to butter her up with the 2,000 square foot commercial kitchen. And she says, we might be onto something there. So I think ultimately she will do it just for her husband, but not because anybody else is wanting her to do it. So we then see that, they talk about Maurice and Marceau get together and they talk about, they heard Martell. I don't know if y'all heard or not, but he was on the Steve Harvey morning show and he had a segment of the Strawberry Letter. And in that Strawberry Letter, he publicly apologized to Mel for, I guess, the humiliation, the cheating, the lying and whatnot. But I didn't hear it. Did y'all hear it? But anyway, we then go to Melody and we see her. She's at her house and she is getting some wine together because Destiny is coming over. And we know that she and Destiny have gotten really close over the years. And Destiny kind of came through to see her. She tells us that right now she's just focusing on herself and her children, and that she is really not trying to, be dating anybody at this time. Their divorce is final, but she is focusing on her career, her many careers, and her family. So Destiny comes over for a little wine and some conversation. So they sit and they talk, and they're Destiny tells her that she went to brunch with Kimmy, and while they were at brunch, we kind of see a flash of this. And I think once again, there are pieces of this show that we probably won't see, but they will kind of splice in these little scenes every here and there just to kind of catch us up on what went down and why we're hearing certain conversations. They do seem pretty good at that, at least bringing us up to speed. And it doesn't seem like something that was just thrown in and we not, know about it or are blindsided by it. But we see she and Kimmy were at brunch, and Kimmy was kind of wanting to know the tea because, like Kimmy, we all noticed that we haven't seen LeBaric around. We didn't see him at all last season. We saw him at that empowerment meeting or whatever they had outside. We saw him there, but we didn't see him anymore after that. And so she didn't really, go into detail or tell Kimmy much because she felt like Kimmy was probing and just wanted the tea. But she does tell Melody that she and LeBaric are officially divorced. And this kind of blows Melody away. Melody was like, wait a minute, what? And she was like, yeah, we are officially divorced. I guess they have been divorced for a month or something. I don't know. It's been, a while. And Melody was just kind of like, wow, I had no idea. And she didn't really want to go into detail or want to let anybody know about it because Melody and Martell were going through their, dilemma, and she didn't want to make it about her. She wanted to be the supportive friend. All the while, she was signing them papers also. But Mel just says that she's upset because she wanted to be that friend for her that she was, for Melody when she was going through her situation. But she was like, she isn't Destiny, was like, this is something that I needed to go through on my own. I did, I had to get through this. And LeBaric and I weren't even married long enough. Y'all had 12 years under y'all's belt. We barely had one. And so it was really not a thing. He was not being the husband that I needed him to be. So it was just a wrap on that. And Destiny does definitely strike me as a woman who is not going to take much or nothing from a man. If she's not happy, she's not going to stay. Just like, we saw she wanted to keep her last name. She wasn't budging on that. And for a while, she was okay with them living separate. She didn't even want to live with him. So I can definitely see her being stuck in her ways and not really, caring too much about walking away if need be. So then we go to Marceau. And I noticed that Marceau did have a little gut on him. That quarantine, it did us all in. I'm trying to lose some of that weight myself. But I noticeably saw him with the gut. And he said that Kimmy has been meal prepping for him because apparently not only is Kimmy a nurse, a realtor, but she is also a caterer as well. And so she has been meal prepping because Letitia has been very busy with school, trying to graduate and get all of this stuff taken care of, that I guess she hasn't really been cooking. So Kimmy has come to the rescue, and I guess she meal preps for him every week. But while they're there, he asks Kimmy to help him throw a surprise party for Letitia, and she swiftly says no, because she and Letitia are not in a good place right now, and she just doesn't think that it's appropriate. Y'all dog me and tell me I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, but you come and ask me to do something like help her or help you plan a graduation celebration for someone that is not even cool with me, that's not even talking to me. No. So he goes on, tries to butter her up, and he tells her that he'll make sure to plan it on a day that Miss Wanda is not in town and not able to come. And so that kind of, sweetens the deal a little bit for Kimmy, and she does agree to help him. Now, side note, I did like that new confessional look that Kimmy had with the green. I loved that green eyeshadow. It matched very, very well with the dress she had on. I didn't like how her titties were just kind of hanging in that dress, but I did like the dress nonetheless. And her hair was very pretty. She looked really, really nice. It was just that the slices in the chest region I could have did without, but beautiful nonetheless. So then we go and we see Letitia. She's talking to her cousin. They're at a boutique or something, and her cousin's kind of in her feelings that she's not invited to the graduation. But those kind of events I know are extremely limited. We can't just have, all of our family there because COVID restrictions are still in place. And they basically talk about how she knows that she will eventually have to see Kimmy, and that Kimmy will probably be at this event that Marceau is secretly trying to plan. But she knows about it, and she's sure that Kimmy's going to be there because Maurice will be there, and they're, brothers and best friends and XYZ. So she just basically talks about how she knows she'll have to see her eventually. So then we see Mr. Martell. It took him a while to get to Martell. We see him, and he's on his way to Destiny's beauty supply store, and he's trying to push these products that he has not even signed a contract for, which was very strange to me. I guess it's like some body care products, some body oils, some body butters or whatever. And Destiny thought it was weird too. She's like, okay, well, are you a partner yet? And he's like, well, no. I was waiting. Basically, he was waiting until his divorce was final because he didn't want Melody to stand a chance of getting any more of his money or any money from him from this deal. And so she was like, okay, well, y'all have been divorced now for a while. So what you waiting on? It's been a few weeks now. Why haven't you signed? And he is just kind of doing things ass backwards. And he got kind of in his feelings a little bit because Destiny pointed it out to him. And he's just like, well, let me do this the way that I do this. And we obviously see who the business brains, was in this marriage. And it was definitely Melody. But anyway, they end up changing the subject. He asks her about LeBaric and how, things are with them. And she just basically says it's in God's hands. And he's like, he tries to get on her about doing work and all this other stuff. And so she asked him, did you do work in your marriage? And he's like, yeah, I worked for 12 years. And she was like, yeah, you might have worked. She was like, but I'm pretty sure it was hard work trying to maintain two relationships, a marriage and a relationship. And so he, again, was offended by that. And he shoots off at her, telling her, that's why you getting a divorce now, because your mouth and all this other crazy stuff. I guess he is just so misogynistic. He just wants a woman to just exist and I guess look pretty and shut up, and he'll be and satisfy his sexual needs, because we know if she's not doing that, he running over, across the street to whoever. So we know how Martell gets down. Anyway, she just, she was like, oh, you getting kind of disrespectful, which he was. And they just kind of cut that conversation short because he just expects for a woman to let a man be a man. And I guess he feels like he should have the right to go and do what he pleases. And Destiny definitely wasn't for that. And as a matter of fact, she threatened to pop him upside his head with a stiletto. But anyway, we go on to Melody. We see her again, and she talks about her single that she says has charted to number 4 on the R&B charts. I don't know which R&B charts it was, and locally I have not heard her single on the radio stations here. I don't know if they're playing them where you are. I mean, the song was nice. It was a nice enough song to me. She has a nice voice. I just hadn't heard it locally where I am. Let me know if y'all have heard it. But it charted to number 4, and she is, you know, she wears many hats. She does like her women empowerment or her, you know, real estate stuff. She does a lot of things, and she was meeting with a few people on how she wanted to start gathering or hiring interns, paid interns, so that they could kind of learn the business, and kind of like one of those reach one, teach one kind of deals. And she wanted to do that within HBCUs, you know, the students from historically Black colleges and universities, which I thought was really dope. That's nice as well. But while she was on her Zoom meeting, Chris comes by, and we remember Chris. Chris is the realtor that was, you know, good friends with she and Martell. He and his wife were kind of like mentors to them a little bit. And he comes by and he basically tells Melody that he wants her to assist with putting some houses on this 40 plus acres that they are in contract, that's under contract right now. I guess the investor wanted him to reach out to Melody to see about building homes, which I thought was kind of messy because they knew that she was going through this divorce. The investors knew because they were the ones who pulled out of the deal, I thought, because Martell and Melody were going through this divorce. But anyway, just to make matters messier, and she says, well, have you talked to Martell about it? Because I don't want to get into anything with him. I don't want any more conflict with him. He needs to know about this. He needs to be cool with this. And if he's cool with this, I will definitely entertain the offer. And so they're going to, I guess Chris is going to talk to Martell about it. And so we'll see what happens there. So now we're at the event. We're at Tisha's graduation celebration. And they got steaks on the grill. You know, everybody's out there. Her family's there. And we see Kimmy talking to Tisha's brother, who just out of nowhere asks her, are you and Tisha good? And so she was like, I mean, I suppose we are. Yeah, we should be. And so he and his cousin, the same one who was with Letitia earlier, they just kind of started attacking Kimmy about her not having her back. And it was just a mess. But Kimmy was holding her own. Kimmy was like, look, I was not about to sit there and lie for your sister or cousin, you know, during this reunion about some stuff that's pointless. I mean, this is just pointless. So anyway, in the midst of their argument, Letitia rolls up. They cut it short. And Letitia gives everybody this speech there. You know, she thanks them for coming, and she lets them know how hard she worked, and how, although Marcel made her cry during this process, she knew that it was necessary. She knew he was coming from a good place and XYZ. And I do see that her family does like to start mess. It's not just Miss Wanda. Her family will get it cracking wherever I see. Because that wasn't the place, but they did anyway. And Kimmy pulls Letitia to the side and she's like, look, obviously we still have a problem because your family just kind of came at me about some stuff that happened so long ago. And so Kimmy and Letitia are talking. Letitia is still harping on feeling like Kimmy didn't have her back. Kimmy brings up a good point that nobody had her back when Kyan was coming at her about Maurice and telling everybody that she stole her husband. And, you know, Letitia didn't say one word then, but she wanted her to have her back when she was going at it with Melody and Martell. But anyway, she's still on that mess. And Letitia didn't have anything to say when, you know, Kimmy came at her about that. But she knows that there is no pleasing Letitia. Letitia is spoiled. And part of the reason why she is, we have catered to her for so long, but I'm done with it. And I'm not doing it anymore, and it is what it is. So that was pretty much where the episode ended. This season is going to be very, very, very good. I am so excited about it. If I left anything out, y'all know, drop down in the comments below. We will certainly talk about it. I will see you guys in the next video, which will probably be Housewives of Potomac. But until then, you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I will definitely see y'all in the next video. Peace.